Hey guys, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Legends of Tomorrow episode 3 video. Had a couple special guest appearances. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. The episode was actually probably most fun for you. One, if you really liked seeing citizens steal, like just seeing people get their powers, because that's really cool. But if you're a big film nerd, especially a big samurai film nerd, then you probably picked up on a lot of the Kurosawa references. They basically, like a lot of the plot drew from one, Turtles in Time, because the woman's father, who was supposed to marry the Shogun, he was actually the actor who played the Shogun in Turtles 3, Turtles in Time, if you remember that movie. It's a bit of a deep cut. Somewhere Stephen Amell is like sitting and weeping that they didn't invite him to come play for like another Ninja Turtles episode. But the only big Kurosawa films that I detected were Redbeard, Yojimbo, Seven Samurai, and a little bit of Hidden Fortress. So, there were Star Wars references too. So let's just do top 10 WTF and I'll do like all the Easter eggs as I go along. Number 10, Vixen is a ninja on the ship, taking down everyone swiftly because she thinks that they took down Our Man. That's going to be her big arc this season, getting justice for Our Man, possibly trying to save him. So number 9, follow up on the Heatwave moment because their first run-in was amazing. They had this nice through line through the episode where, number 9, Heatwave is a huge ninja movie fan. The only thing I know is that ninjas like to hide in trees. And they actually did a callback to that later in the episode where he's fighting the ninjas and there's one in the background running through the trees. And they're not necessarily teasing chemistry between them or anything like Heatwave and Vixen, but she does give him the throwing star at the end of the episode. So just the look on his face though, it's just like Christmas for him. He's like a little boy, like, oh my god, I got the thing that I asked Santa Claus for. But number 8, Citizen Steel activates his powers. The way they're explaining it on the TV show is pretty close to the comics, but obviously you can kind of see the way it looks. It's just like a single color. The whole episode was mostly told from his perspective. It was his big call to action. Like, he couldn't defeat the Shogun until he got super zen about it. So it's not like he's super pro now, but I think he'll be a little bit better with the way he's able to turn his powers on and off. But as you can see, it gives him enhanced strength, he can absorb kinetic damage, and he can absorb energy to a certain degree. They might test that later this season. Like over in the Marvelverse, there's a really good example of during Secret Wars where Thanos, one of the most powerful people in the Marvel Universe, goes up against Doctor Doom wielding the powers of the Beyonders. So you're like, wow, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Who's more powerful? And Dr. Doom rips his spine out of him. So no matter how powerful you seem, there is always a limit to your powers. So now you're wondering, does that mean that the Reverse Flash could phase his hand through Citizen Steel? Or maybe because it's organic metal, maybe there's some workaround. So hopefully they'll test that out. Open up a tab in Chrome, Reverse Flash versus Citizen Steel. We'll see how that goes down. But number 7, the farmer and his daughter, their last name is Yamashiro. He is this excellent weaponsmith. So what they're implying here is that he is Katana's ancestor and the blade is the Soul Taker blade because Katana's last name is Yamashiro. So that was the big wink at that. But number 6, Adam's big call to action. You don't need a suit to be a hero. The comedic timing here is almost perfect. I built it so that an idiot could use it. And then Heatwave just pipes up, an idiot is using it. So even though there were some moments during the episode that were a little on the nose, like the way they use that song at the end, Time Is On My Side, way too over the top on the nose for me, most of the episode, the comedic timing was totally on point. So they're doing a much better job with their scripts this season. Number 5, I'll just say Vixen throughout the entire episode just being super vicious. I like this version of Vixen better than I liked the other version of Vixen that we saw during Arrow Season 4. Not that she was a bad actress, I like the character arc that this Vixen is on. It makes her that much more dangerous, so she is out for blood in the same way that Canary has a little bit of bloodlust in her. She doesn't technically have bloodlust anymore, but anyone who has been a part of the League of Assassins has an edge to them that most people don't have. So it was kind of funny listening to her talk to Sarah about the fact that there are no ninjas, no secret societies of killing people. She walked right into that one. There's going to be a little bit of that with Vixen's character this season, a little bit of comedy fish out of water because she's from the 1940s, and a lot of the stuff that the legends talk about is modern pop culture references. Who is this Master Yoda that you speak of? Number 4, that was actually pretty funny. They kept going back to the Yoda well. Yoda is like a pretty easy mark for science fiction TV shows and comedies especially, but in the way that they were referencing Star Wars was kind of a ripoff of Hidden Fortress. Like George Lucas was a huge Kurosawa fan, so Hidden Fortress to Kurosawa film to Seven Samurai, bunch of other Kurosawa film references during the episode. So like normally when Cisco makes a joke about Star Wars, it's really just the writers of the episode making a joke about Star Wars. But in this case, it was kind of a meta thing because Star Wars in and of itself is a ripoff of a really famous samurai film, which it itself is actually a ripoff of Shakespeare. If you're not a big Kurosawa fan, he's just a famous Japanese director who did a lot of really famous samurai films, but those films were actually adaptations of Shakespeare plays. So George Lucas ripping off Kurosawa, Kurosawa ripping off Shakespeare. But number 3, Citizen Steel has this big moment. He takes down the Shogun, blows up the Atom armor, and side note, it seems like they're using this as an opportunity to redesign the Atom suit for the TV show and make it look way cooler. So I saw a couple of you asking on Twitter whether or not Atom needs an actual suit in the comics to go small. He does need technology, and there have been times when he's worn a suit, like an actual suit, but it's not like an Iron Man style suit like the one on the TV show. So what they might do is obviously make a cooler looking suit, but also make it smaller, more modular, so just expect something by the mid-season finale that looks way cooler, because they have that super advanced ship. Like they're from the future, but Rip Hunter is from the distant future. He has way more advanced tech, so Atom will probably have no trouble in finding something really cool to build himself a new suit. Number 2 was Vixen joining the team formally, like you see her in her civilian clothes. If you didn't know she's a main cast member this season, I feel like they did a good job of cycling the team membership. Like you have Citizen Steel and Vixen joining the team, you get rid of the Hawks, and you kind of get rid of Rip Hunter. So the energy just feels a little more balanced. Like they were able to retune the show in that way, and I feel like it was a good job. But Rip Hunter is coming back. Speaking of which, as you probably guessed, the number 1, the Barry message in the secret room with all the weapons. I can't allow my friends to get hurt anymore. So it's a very old version of Barry, much further past the Flash newspaper that we always saw in that first season. Remember, there was like the, Flash disappears in crisis. So the time that this message is from way beyond that. So for those of you asking what he actually said, like what the message was, you're not supposed to know. They cut it off on purpose so that they can reveal it at a future time. It's probably some measure of last resort, as in, Barry does the thing that he vowed not to do, mess with the timeline. Maybe it has something to do with the 4-night crossover with the Dominators, but it's probably specific to what's happening on Legends of Tomorrow, and it might be the reason why Rip Hunter disappeared himself from what's been happening so far. I think he's operating from behind the scenes so that he can defeat the Legion of Doom, and it has something to do with Barry's message. So let me know in the comments, what do you think the Flash's message was? But it was a pretty good episode. I feel like they're still trying to find the Citizen Steel character. Like the actor's still kind of working the kinks out. He's a little overeager, but I kind of get where they're coming from. Like he's a little kid. He's been kept inside his whole life, so now he gets to have fun. So I'll say congratulations to this week's DC giveaway winner, Stephen Thomas. You win a $20 Amazon gift card. There is a new round that starts now. There'll be some more DC this weekend. But tomorrow I'll be posting a couple Marvel videos. There's a Doctor Strange Avengers video. There's a Captain America Civil War, behind the scenes drama video that I'm going to post. There's this really cool story about how Marvel Studios had this internal war that eventually led to Kevin Feige and the studio itself separating from Marvel and going off on its own. So I'll be telling that story tomorrow. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click up top for like a huge behind the scenes Thor Ragnarok video I just posted, and you can click down here for next week's Flash trailer. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.